I mean, he was, and even if you take away, I believe I did something. Look, because we looked at his case too early when we started putting out the Hall of Fame profiles. Um, Larry Walker, if you took away all the games in his career that he played at Coors Field, he was still, I believe, like a 286 lifetime hitter with like a
Wow.
370 on base percentage. I mean, he was borderline Hall of Fame without Coors Field. If you just took away all the games he played at Coors Field, he was
Yeah.
borderline like Hall of Fame on a Hall of Fame path. Let's put it that way. So if people can look at certain guys and say, well, if you took away steroids, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
the guy was still a Hall of Famer, like someone like Bonds, if you took away everything from 1996 afterwards or whatever,
Yeah.
the guy was still a Hall of Famer. You know, same thing with Clemens. If you say the same thing about Walker, and he didn't even cheat, he played where he played. I mean, you know, what's he going to do? He played at Coors Field.
The problem with him is that he didn't play. He was always hurt. He never played like if you look at the number of games he played every season, it's like 103, 130, 100. It's like there was always some injury. He only has 2100 hits, 2160. And yeah, and if he got in, it would be the lowest number of hits for a right fielder ever.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna hurt him.
Yeah, it's.
But people say, well, his career WAR was almost 73. So
Right. I mean, this is the thing too. Going back to the steroid thing, aside from it being cheating or whatever, you could say whether it was cheating or not. I mean, technically there were no rules against it. They weren't testing. So whatever, however you position yourself on that. What I look at as far as even the guys who did steroids, if you were that dominant, I mean, because supposedly a lot of people in the sport were doing steroids. How come they all didn't hit 45 home runs, 50 home runs every year? Like, how come they all didn't do it?
right.
You were still, if you were that dominant, like a Bonds, or even to a lesser degree, other guys, Sosa, Palmeiro, Sheffield, a couple guys who were actually on the ballot this year too. If you were still that dominant, then should it really matter? I mean, I look at Larry Walker, and yeah, his Coors Field year is fine. But, I mean, a dude at a 379, 363, 366, I mean, I don't care what park you're playing in. I mean, really?
That's outrageous.
Yeah, 360, 370.
Yeah.
I mean, his career, so when you look at the slash numbers for a career, if you slash 300, 400, 500, I don't care if you're playing in a Little League park. I think you should be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, as long as you played enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, obviously you got to play 10 years to be on the ballot anyway. But I'm just saying, whether you're a DH, whether your fielding wasn't that good, if you slash 300, 400, 500 at a major league level for 1,500, 1,700 to 2,000 games, I'm sorry, I think you're a Hall of Famer.
3-time batting champion. 3 times. He was literally the best hitter.
Yeah.
97 National League MVP. Yeah, I mean, you know, just because he didn't play as much because of injuries, when he played, he was really good.
Yeah, I mean, even some of his years in Montreal. Granted, the power wasn't there, but you got to remember, Montreal was like the anti-Coors Field. Montreal was like playing in Yosemite National Park, for God's sakes. Like that, you know, that was like the opposite. You played in huge park.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at his numbers there. I mean, even his batting average, the power numbers, but the power numbers are still, he had 23 home runs, 22, 19. Stole 18, 29 bases, 15 bases. Hit 322 his last year in Montreal. His batting average with a 394 on base percentage. I mean, the guy, like I said, the guy was still on a Hall of Fame path. And you put him in Coors Field, of course, the power numbers jump up at the era he played in also. But I'm sorry, but when you hit over 350 4 out of 5 years and you're hitting on 360, 370, honestly, I think you're a good enough hitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he passes a test. He was definitely one of the best hitters.
Yeah.
And he did it for a long time. So, yeah.
And he could
this
run.
was last year on the ballot.
Next year. This is last year. And he's trending now. Last I saw, I think it was 65%. So he might get the bump next year, like Edgar did this year. Kind of, you know.
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
How about Omar Vizquel? Ooh, really interesting. Didn't hit that. Wasn't the best hitter, but 11 Gold Gloves, almost 3,000 hits, 2,877 hits. Whew.
What do you think, Dan? He was a Cleveland guy, so I'll give you. What do you think?
My unbiased opinion, obviously, I would put him in. Well, that is my biased opinion, excuse me. But I never really watched him play. But I mean, from what I know, from what I've been told from my father, he was like one of the best fielders he's ever seen. Like you just said, 11-time Gold Glove. He wasn't known for like his overall. He wasn't known as like people didn't fear him at bat. But like you said, he was.
They feared his glove.
Yeah, he had 2,800 hits. I mean, but he didn't have the power. Obviously, he had 400 stolen bases, under 1,000 RBIs though. But
I don't want to say I'm biased, but I have an Omar Vizquel jersey. Just saying.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I love those Indians teams of the 90s. The Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many All-Star games he went to, but he's close. I think this is his first year on the ballot, right?
Yeah, he's. Did I write it down? Where he's trending? He was trending at like 30-something%.
So yeah, I think he'll eventually get in, but I think he's gonna have to wait a couple of years.
Yeah, I think Vizquel
All-Star 3 times, which is weird.
I personally, and this is going to sound bad, I guess. Personally, I think Vizquel's overrated.
That's fair.
I think he was a really good fielder at a premium position. I'll give him that. But his hitting was really not that good. I mean, I know he wasn't feared or anything, but he was a little shortstop. I get it and everything. But the 2,800 hits, he played for 24 years. I mean,
that's very
really
true.
Not, he had 170 hits in a season only 3 times. So, I mean, his counting stats at the end of the day is more because of his longevity rather than his hitting prowess, so to speak.
Yeah, the dude played till he was 45.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 272 lifetime average, 336. I don't know. I just don't think. I just don't think it's there.
Maybe he'll get in.
I think he will get in.
How does that work with the Veterans Committee or something like that? Like you spend so long on the regular ballots, and then the Veterans Committee considers you or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the specifics of it. You spend 10 years on a ballot. It used to be 15, but you have to be retired for 5 years. Then you get on the ballot. You have 10 years maximum eligibility on the writer's ballot. As long as you have at least 5% of the vote, you stay on the ballot. Okay. Once those 10 years are up, if you didn't get the 75% to get in, I believe you're off the ballot then for another 5 years. And then you go to what they do, I think now, is they have committees for different eras. So basically the era committee, like the modern era committee, just voted in Harold Baines and Lee Smith.
Okay.
They're going in this year. That's how they got in, because they weren't on the ballot for a certain amount of time. They fell off the ballot, and then they go to a committee. So that's what'll happen. Obviously, to McGriff, Fred McGriff will be one because this is his last year eligibility, and he's only at about 30-something% to 38%. So he's going to fall off the ballot. So basically, he'll wait 5 more years. I believe it's 5. He'll wait 5 more years, and then he'll be up. He'll be up for vote as far as the committee goes, like the modern era committee, and they can put him in. I did the committees. Committee's made up of 12 former players, Hall of Famers, managers, and stuff. Forget how they choose the committee or if it changes every year. I'm not sure of the specifics of that, but it's basically how it works.
Okay. So I'm just thinking eventually they let Bill Mazeroski in. And Bill Mazeroski was basically the only reason he got in was A, he had a great glove, and B, hit the game-winning home run of the 1960 World Series. But he eventually, I mean, his numbers were terrible, but he was really good defensively. So maybe like 10, 15, 20 years from now, they'll let Omar in when he's 112.
Yeah, I think Vizquel will eventually get in. He might get in. He might get voted in by the writers. I mean, it is possible that he gains enough attention because a lot of proponents for him getting in compare him to Ozzie Smith, which I don't think is a very good comparison. Ozzie Smith is a lot better. I've seen them both play. I'm old enough to have watched Ozzie Smith, but Ozzie Smith was a better player.
Ozzie Smith was like next level with his defense. He was easily the best. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just there was just no comparison. Omar Vizquel was very good. Ozzie Smith was the best.
Yeah, he was on another level.
Yeah.
Ozzie Smith. I mean, yeah. His WAR, I believe, if you want to compare WAR, I think Vizquel's is like 46 and Ozzie Smith's was like 72. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's not even close. Yeah. So, I don't think there's a comparison there, but I get it. They look at Vizquel and they see the almost 3,000 hits. Play for a long time. The longevity's there. The Gold Gloves. I get it. So I think he'll eventually get into whether he gets in by the baseball writers or he gets in a veterans committee. I don't know, but
yeah.
All right. Is there anybody else we didn't talk about?
Dan, you got anybody?
I guess Sosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't get in, but
yeah,
he's just a notable name that I was looking at.
Right.
Manny Ramirez.
Yeah. Do
we want to talk about Travis Hafner?
Travis Hafner. How about Placido Polanco? Juan Pierre. Hey, Juan Pierre, man.
Juan Pierre.
Juan Pierre. Speed demon.
I loved Juan Pierre because anytime on a fantasy baseball thing, bring him up, I would go into this big French accent thing. So that's why I love yeah. Oh God, Jason Bay might be.
Oh yeah,
Jason Bay. He was one of those, that 20-year period of the Pirates just being absolutely awful and never having a winning record. Jason Bay was the star of some of those teams. And I just remember he made an all-star team. He made the home run derby, and he did not hit one home run.
Wow,
dude,
that's funny.
Wow, Jason Bay. Yeah, Rick Ankiel, I think, is on the ballot too.
Who's that?
Rick Ankiel. Remember him? He was a pitcher. Yeah, he was a pitcher for the Cardinals, and then he went
a hitter or something.
Yeah, he was.
There's always an outrageous couple of names on the ballot.
Oh yeah.
Last year there was Casey Blake on the ballot. There's always somebody.
As long as you play 10 years in the major leagues and you have to have a certain amount of plate appearances, I believe it's 4,000 plate appearances.
Yeah.
So as long as you have played 10 years in the major leagues and have 4,000 plate appearances, there actually is a committee because or else you'd have like 100 players on a ballot every year. There is a committee of 8, I believe, that narrows it down. So there are guys that fit that criteria that don't get put on the ballot.
Yeah.
You have to have I think you have to have a positive WAR, or there are other criteria that they use now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not simply just 10 years and 4,000, but that's basically it. So that's why you see guys like that on the ballot. The guys that are never going to get. Kevin Youkilis is on the ballot.
Jeez.
Just guys that,